Assalamu alaikum. Hello and welcome to a very, very special episode of Football Moshla podcast. Because today we're not going to talk about FPL, we're not going to talk about Champions League, Premier League, La Liga, Bundesliga, Liga 1, Uber Eats, McDonald's, Burger King, none of that. We're going to talk about one of the greatest ever, in my eyes, or maybe not. We're going to have four different perspectives in this podcast. We have recurring guests on our show. We have Sohol from Bangladesh, representing Bayern Munich. We have
So
Akash from Queens, New York,
Hello.
who is a diehard Madrid fan. Well, yes, maybe you can see the bias. And we have my co-host Kazi,
Dil.
who is perhaps একটু মশলা ঢালবে যে ও রোনাল্ডো কিনে কথা বলবে কিনা, because today's episode is just focusing on Cristiano Ronaldo. You know, this guy, maybe you've heard of him. You know, he broke the internet, maybe. No, I don't think so. So, what is that he did? An earth-shattering statement that he did. Adil, would you like to shed some light on the statement that he made?
Correct. So he actually made a statement that he is the best football/soccer player in the entire planet of all time.
The most complete player, in his
The
words.
most complete player in his words, yes. Mane, not in this generation, not in this era, but in all eras. So the question is he right? Or is he full of himself? Or is he partially right? Let's talk.
Sohal, I'm going to ask the question and I want your answer exactly the way you told me over the phone. Is Cristiano Ronaldo the most complete player of all time in the world of
Yes,
football?
definitely. No doubt, definitely.
What makes you so confident?
For me, for my opinion, he's the most complete player of all time. And for me, he's the greatest player of all time. No doubt.
Okay. So we got Sohol's answer. We're going to find out more from Sohol. Definitely, I know Sohol, you have more to say. So, Akash, I think I know your answer, but still, is Ronaldo the most complete player in the history of football?
Of course, like no doubt, to call just like as he mentioned, to say that Cristiano is not complete, he's not complete is a lie. Like, if you are actually saying that like Cristiano has not completed football, other than winning a World Cup, then I would say it's a total lie. And people can have their perspective. People do have biases towards their favorite player. It's a emotional connection as well when you are talking about, who the greatest of all player is to you. But for me, yes, it is CR7, the GOAT.
Greatest of all time. In case you're not familiar with why we're doing GOAT before Qurbani Eid, greatest of all time. So I also have a few stories to share, but I think my one will run for more than 30 seconds. But we would like to know from Adil, do you share your sentiment with Sohol and Akash?
No, I don't. My sentiment is that he's not the greatest player of all time. That's a very bold statement made by him, because in the eras that I've watched football for a long time. Unfortunately I've not watched Maradona and Pele live, but I've watched the highlights, and the eras were different. I understand, but there is the conversation has to be talked about. Well, in this conversation, we have to talk about Messi, right? Because it's a Ronaldo. He's claiming that because that's his claim. And again, let me just tell you this: I am not like a Ronaldo hater or anti-Ronaldo. I actually loved the guy, and I actually discovered the guy before he even joined Manchester United, because I was watching the friendly Manchester United played with Sporting before he joined, and he gave John O'Shea a migraine, in the words of Alex Ferguson, because he gave John O'Shea a runaround, the young Ronaldo,
In 2002.
and in 2002, and then he came in. No, it was in 2004, I think. He
It has to
when
be 2002.
David Beckham left in 2004. It's 2004, because David Beckham joined Real Madrid. He came in, he took the number 7 spot and number 7 jersey, and then the commentator said he has the right name with the right number. So, and then he gave Bolton Wanderers a run for their money. And while I talk, you can fact check
Yes, I'm fact
Fardan,
checking.
because it was not 2002. We just had the World Cup. David Beckham came back. It was probably 2003, maybe
I just
2004. So we'll see. But Ronaldo, I've followed him since he joined Manchester United. He played in the Premier League. He left and he became a monster goal machine at Real Madrid. He had his best years, undoubtedly the best years of his career at Real Madrid. Came back to Juventus for a few seasons. Then I think from Juventus he came to Manchester United, played in the Premier League again in an era of defenders like Van Dijk and Konat. I mean Van Dijk and Gabriel and all the stuff. So I don't think the reason I say is that because Messi at times dragged Barcelona by himself.
It was 2003.
It was 2003. So we both were wrong, but it
No,
was not 2002.
I said 2003.
You said 2002.
I said three.
Two. Go back and check.
I don't know what to say.
2002 there. So it's a 2003 that he started at Manchester United. So that's how long I have known him as a football player. Like I've followed him. So the reason I say is that because he cannot.
Oh, sorry. His debut was 2003, but I think they played that friendly in 2002.
No, he just played in the same preseason.
Same year? Okay.
Same
Never
year.
mind.
Same year. Yeah. So he's the reason is that he cannot, in my opinion, Messi for quite a lot of times single-handedly dragged Barcelona out of difficult situation or single-handedly won the games for Barcelona. Ronaldo, on the other hand, did it, but he had a very, with all due respect, in Real Madrid, he had a very nice team around him. The players that he had, when he came, he had Kaká, Benzema, he had down the line he had Modric, Toni Kroos. It was more like he had a lot of players. Messi had Iniesta and Xavi, but apart from that, there was a period when there was a transition. Ronaldinho and Samuel Eto'o were leaving, Messi coming in. So my take is that Messi can change the game in an instant. Used to, not anymore. Ronaldo still playing. I think he's still playing much better than Messi because Messi is playing in a league that is not like a hundred. Hats off to Ronaldo and his fitness as an athlete. He's great because he's playing in Saudi League, which is 40 degrees Celsius, Al Nasser, and আমরা যারা বাংলাদেশে ফুটবল খেলছি আমরা বলতে পারি we can relate to that weather because ঠান্ডাতে খেলা এক জিনিস if you're living in United States and UK or Europe you have no idea about the weather conditions over there and you have not played football in that humidity and in that situation.
I was born in the Middle East and I played football as a kid in the heat, in the desert heat. So it's unmatched.
Yeah, so I don't agree because then there is also Pele, who we have seen some clips of him, right? That he did some amazing stuff. So as a complete player, I don't think of all time, no. Maybe there can be an argument that can be made in his era, yes, maybe. But still there is a Lionel Messi that actually stops him from being the complete player of all time. That's my opinion.
Okay, so we've heard three different, the longer version from Adil, definitely. So, definitely, thank you for sharing that. But obviously, like to say that big of a statement, it packs a big punch. It's like you instead of starting with your handgun, just went straight for your bazooka, RPG, and the bowling gun. So that's like that. But it's coming from someone who hasn't won the World Cup. So that's what everybody says, when they talk about Ronaldo, that Tor World Cup ko, Tor World Cup ko. And we hear that so much. So why do you think he said that? I feel since I started my being a fan, Manchester United fan, I saw him come into the team, and then the legendary all that stuff. He was standing. Alex Ferguson okay bolte se he was coming in, and then he got subbed in. He did extraordinary things. So and I got really emotional. I mean December January to যখন I went after 11 years to my TV set, and I was standing over there. I was reminiscing those moments. of him starting to see him. All those goals that he scored in a Premier League, that was not a bad league at that time. One of the best goals that were scored by overall Premier League at that time, 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006, whereby the greats of the game who had very short careers. This not Dwight York. I mean, I'm talking about the Thierry Henry era, যেখানে অনেকজন অনেক ভালো ভালো ক্লড ম্যাকেলেলে, and I'm sorry, I'm drawing blanks, but they were huge players who played in that era. So ওই সময়টাতে he not only dribbled, he scored bangers from free kicks. He was not on penalties at that time. He did headers, he did counter attacks with Rooney, and the way he did all of that, like ওখান থেকে transition করে করে, we saw the level go up and up until he hit Madrid. And yes, definitely Madrid ওই সময় Benzema, Cruz, Modric সবাই ছিল, but ওই টাইমটাতে his level became better and better and better, and his the way that he scored the goals was also, it would become better every time. It was a bicycle kick or a header or a cross or an assist. He was all across the board. So, and for him to continue doing that, and remember the homecoming he did. Sohol, if you remember the 2021 season, যেখানে সোহল আমাকে ফোন দিয়ে লিটারালি মজা নিতেছিল যে আপনার রোনাল্ডো তো যাইতেছে গা, এমনি মজা নেওয়ার জন্য। ইজ এ রোনাল্ডো ফ্যান, বাট ও যাইতেছে গা বিকজ দেয়ার ইজ এ হিউজ রিউমার দ্যাট ম্যানচেস্টার সিটিতেও যাচ্ছে। ইভেন রিউমার না, আদিল আমাকে কিছুদিন আগে বলছে দ্যাট ইট ওয়াজ সেট দ্যাট হি ইজ গোয়িং টু ম্যানচেস্টার সিটি। আর ওটা শোনার পর আই ওয়াজ লাইক, ও মাই গড, আই ওয়াজ সো স্যাড। অ্যান্ড দেন আই ওয়াজ স্লিপিং, অ্যান্ড সোল আমাকে যে জীবনও কল দেন আমাকে, সোল বাই দ্য ওয়ে ডাজন্ট কল মি, সোল কল্ড মি ইন মাই মর্নিং টাইম, কল দিয়ে he's like, ফরতান ভাই ঘুম থেকে উঠেন, ম্যানচেস্টারে রোনাল্ডো, ম্যানচেস্টার এমন করতেছিল। আর আমি তখনই এক এক লাফে
আমি ইউনাইটেডও বলি নাই, সিটিও বলি নাই,
ম্যানচেস্টার ম্যানচেস্টার বলতেছিল, কারণ তার আগের দিনই কথা
ম্যানচেস্টার
হয়েছে।
বলতেছিলাম।
আর আমি এরকম চোখ টলতে টলতে ফোন কাটিনি, আমি উঠছি থেকে আর ওকে বকতেছিলাম, খারাপ খারাপ গালি দিচ্ছিলাম, যেটা আমি ইউজুয়ালি দেই। দিতে দিতে বলতেছিলাম যে
হ্যাঁ, হ্যাঁ।
আমার মাথা খাইছে না, আমি নিউজটা জানতেও চাই না, আমি জানতে চাই না, আমি ওকে ওই জার্সিতে দেখতেই পারবো না। ও তখন আরো জোরে চিৎকার করছে, আরো চিৎকার করে বলে,
আরে ভাই আপনি কথাটা শোনেন, রোনাল্ডো ম্যানচেস্টার ইউনাইটেড ভাই, আপনি রিলেটেড। আমি যখন এটা বলছি অনেকক্ষণ চুপ ছিল, অনেকক্ষণ চুপ ছিল, কয়েক সেকেন্ড, 10-12 সেকেন্ডের মতো চুপ ছিল।
আমি ফোন স্পিকারে দিছি
কি
আর হাত কাঁপতেছিল আমার। আর আমি ফ্যাক্ট চেক করতে
কিন্তু
ম্যানচেস্টার ইউনাইটেডের
যতটা
টুইটার
আশা
পেজে
করছিলাম
গেছি,
তত ভালো সুবিধা করতে পারে নাই।
টুইটার পেজে গেছি আর ওখানে গেছি। ইট ওয়াজ এ মোমেন্ট, লাইক একটা হোম কামিং হচ্ছে, ওর ওই ক্লাবে আসতেছে, আমি ক্লাবের ফ্যান। তার মধ্যে অনেক স্পেকুলেশন ছিল, হাউ ক্যান হি প্লে উইথ এ টিম দ্যাট হ্যাজ জেডন স্যানচো, মার্কাস রাশফোর্ড, এডিনসন কাভানি, অল দোজ প্লেয়ার্স। কিন্তু আমি কিছুদিন আগে বারবার আমার নিউজ ফিডে খালি ও যে হ্যাট্রিকটা করছিল টটনহ্যাম হটস্পার্স এর সাথে, টটনহ্যাম হটস্পার্স কিন্তু ওই সময় খারাপ টিম ছিল না। দে হ্যাড কেইন, সন ইন ভেরি গুড ফর্ম, they had আরো কিছু প্লেয়ার্স। আদিল, রিমাইন্ড মি, ওই সিজনে ওদের কে কে ছিল স্পার্সে? পেদ্রো পোরো wasn't there at that time,
কি
but যে
মানে ওদের ইয়েতে
ওদের
কেইন, সান আর ওদের রাইটে একটা প্লেয়ার কে জানি খেলতো,
জালি আলি ছিল না?
টেলি আলি ছিল,
টেলে আলি ছিল। সো স্পার্স
টেলি
ওই
আলি,
সময় টপ 7 এ থাকে।
কুলোসেভস্কি ছিল,
Kulusevski, yeah. So this was a very good team, and Ronaldo scored a hat trick against this Spurs. এর মধ্যে একটা ছিল লং রেঞ্জ এফোর্ট, একটা ছিল ট্যাপ ইন, একটা ছিল হেডার। And I remember the commentator was going that this is the same Ronaldo that played, but he's much older. He's still able. He still has it, And the assist তিনজন কিন্তু তিনটা assist দিছিল. It was not the same. It was a very team.
ফ্রেড দিছিল একটা,
Fred actor, Sancho actor, and other one was from a corner, I think. So, but then he was saying that Ronaldo tunnel থেকে যখন আসে ও প্লেয়ারদেরকে চার্জ আপ করতে করতে নিয়ে আসে, like he really believed in the team and all that. So I think the combination of everything that I said, of being able to assist, score, being able to hold a team together. আল নাসেরের কিছু ক্লিপস এখন দেখা যায় যে ও সবাইকে আরবি শিখতেছে just so that he can communicate. ও আসসালামু আলাইকুম থেকে শুরু করে অনেক কিছু, like he really wants to blend in not just with the country's culture but with the team's culture, and he feels like এই মাইন্ডসেটটা অন্যদের মধ্যেও দেখে না। You don't expect Lionel Messi to start speaking in English with his other teammates and everything. But I don't want this to be a Messi Ronaldo podcast. This is a Ronaldo podcast. So I think equal combine করে, I would also believe he's a complete player.
ওকে, সো আমার কোয়েশ্চেনটা হচ্ছে যে there were times মানে রোনাল্ডো হ্যাজ মানে আকাশকে আমি জিজ্ঞেস করতে পারি, at times in Madrid যে he played for himself to score the goals. Bale score করলেও ও অত happy হইতো না. He had to raise his hands. Benzema sometimes score করলেও happy হইতো না. There were times, a lot of times. I think in Madrid personally, when I have watched him, it was his best season was when Jose Mourinho came in and I think he scored 60 goals or something in a season, more than Messi. ওই one season এবং ওই সিজনটাতেই ও ট্রানজিশন হয়েছে from left wing থেকে স্ট্রাইকারে or on inverted striker or whatever false nine যেটা মানে ডায়াগোনাল রানস যেটা করতো আর কি মরিনিও করাইছিল ওকে দিয়ে যে আই থিঙ্ক মরিনিওর মধ্যে পার্সোনালি হাইয়েস্ট স্কোরিং season as a manager ছিল. I think they scored I think 100 points and then they scored more goals ever, right? So তারপর থেকে I followed him very closely in Madrid, and then my question is that he at Madrid he came off at sometimes as very selfish and arrogant for playing for himself, right? এটা নিয়ে মাদ্রিদের অনেক গ্যাঞ্জাম হয়েছে আলভারো মোরাটার সাথে ইভেন কি বলে গ্যারেথ বেলের সাথে, right? So what's your take on that, Akash? Because তুমি তো মাদ্রিদের ফ্যান, তুমি তো এরাটা পার করে আসছো.
Well, definitely, like I'm not gonna disagree, Jibote, like the fact that like at times, yes, like I would say every player is selfish when you're playing like in the field. I'm not gonna say that nobody is perfect, I do have my biases, although I do have my biases, but like I'm gonna have to say like this guy was the face of the team. This guy was the leader, the true leader we're talking about. When we are talking about Ronaldo, I would have to uh, talk from a different perspective. It's not we're only talking about like a guy who just plays good. When we're talking about Ronaldo here, we're talking about a guy, even if he misses, like although we know many people, many what do you call it, legends, they would say when they get asked, you're like if you have to take a penalty to save your life, who would you give it to? And they always say Ronaldo. And I don't think it's because like um because of the fact that he's a good penalty taker. I think it's more likely because of his mentality, and who he is as a leader. Um, and that's what it shows in the field as well. And my take regarding like him being a bit selfish, and I understand like it's very hard to manage um, a team full of talents, but I would like to disagree with the fact যে যখন রোনালদো আসছে তখন ক্রুজকে কিভাবে আনা হয়েছিল বায়ার্ন থেকে, রাইট? মদ্রিচকে কিভাবে আনা হয়েছিল? Yes, Modric was a rising star per se. Just like Bale was a rising star. Like this guy was already built. And Cruz, like I would have to say, like Cruz wasn't who he was. Like when he arrived at Madrid, like Benzema. You're talking about Benzema. Like I would say, like Ronaldoর আশেপাশে বলতে এত বেশি competition ছিল না. Like he would always get like fed, like by his teammates. That's true. Like যে like কারণ ওর উপরে count করা যেত. Like he would be the guy who would show up in El Clasicos. He would be the guy who would show up against Atletico Madrid, Mr. Champions League himself, right? When we were talking about Champions League. So, yeah, that's just my take on it. Like, like yeah, in the fields and like, we can see people's characters, they can change like in a game. It's we're like, a lot can happen in a game. But this guy, like player came, they left, they stayed or whatnot. But Ronaldo, he did it. He had the consistency for Madrid. I think he played 435 games and he scored 450 goals, right? 35 or 36. I could be
Somewhere around
mistaken.
that, yeah.
Somewhere around that. But to have this like crazy stat, it's crazy. And um, Ronaldo played all sorts of position. Like he did not only play as a striker or like a false nine, as you said, like Jose Mourinho's area. Like he's known for his physicality. He's known for his speed. He's known for his right foot, left foot, dribbling, whatever you call it. So I would have to give it to him. Like um Yeah, that's why, hence, like, for me, he is the most complete football player. But that's just my eyes. That's just my opinion. Um, and yeah, that's all. And regardless of other opinions and whatnot, like, I would gladly accept if somebody says Messi is the greatest of all time. I would gladly accept even if they say Zidane is, like, greatest player of all time, or like Pele, Maradona, like, like whoever you call it, like, it's very emotional. It has to be something that touches you for you to claim that. So, um, that's very personal, from my opinion.
I mean, that's great, but একটা জিনিস হচ্ছে রোনাল্ডো ফান ফ্যাক্ট রোনাল্ডো যখন আসছিল রাউল ওয়াজ দ্য স্ট্রাইকার ফর রিয়াল মাদ্রিদ
Yeah.
and Raul had the number 7 jersey and Ronaldo had to do with numbers 9 or number 11 uh,
9.
9 so তারপরে Raul যাওয়ার পরে he got the number 7 um, and also Kaka was there I think Benzema ke ana hoyse same time nei because I remember Manchester United actually wanted Benzema but Real Madrid made the move. So Ronaldo it was a Galactico era that started with Ronaldo. Madrid's second Galactico era because Figo Tigo চলে গেছে তখন Zidane Figo Brazilian Ronaldo সব চলে যাওয়ার পরে
Brazilian Ronaldo.
Ronaldo Nazario dilemma. So ও চলে যাওয়ার পরে তারপরে এটা আসছে and then it was basically he had his best seasons and best career games as a Real Madrid player. But the only thing that stops me is another thing from agreeing that he's the greatest of all time. I think he could have finished off in a competitive league his career, right? He went to Saudi League. I know about the money factor and the challenge of the challenge of elevating the league and then it's okay. Same can be said of Messi. Messi took the easy way out, coming to Inter Miami in MLS, which is less competitive than the Saudi League. So basically, আমার কথা হচ্ছে যে Ronaldo could have gone to another competitive league, maybe a PSG, maybe, right? PSG wanted him also.
League One.
এই যে দেখছো
League One, yeah.
অবস্থা
Instead of going to ওই যে
আমার কথা হচ্ছে কি মানে যদি যাকে ট্রোল করবে স্পেশালি ওকে ট্রোল করতে হলে ও লিগ ওয়ানে গেলে তো ওকে অনেক ট্রোল করতো ফার্মার্স লিগ বলে
ও তো চ্যাম্পিয়ন্স লিগ খেলতে পারতো রেকর্ডটা আরো বেশি বাড়তো
I mean,
goal.
I think that to talk about what I mean, we talk about what he did, but we also should slightly talk about what caused him to do that. That interview he did with Piers Morgan, what led to that interview right before the World Cup. He was without a club. Ten Hag did all that stuff. He was disappointed with the club. There were no changes. He was expecting like, oh, in those years that I was away from United would have technologically would have been advanced. It was the same exact things. It was as if like he was walking into that 2004 2005 dressing room and all that facilities. Whereas Real Madrid, as we know, they have state of the art facilities for even the staff, not just the players. For the players, they get everything ready made. But যে মানুষটা পানির বোতল রেডি করে ওর ফ্যাসিলিটিটাও ভালো in Real Madrid, ঠিক আছে? For Manchester United, we love Manchester United. I'm a big fan of Manchester United. That's the first club I ever supported. But to see that in tatters and the support, he actually went up to the owners and everybody and said that I need the support. Let's get together. He didn't get that. Instead, his merchandise was being sold off and marketed like no tomorrow, and he felt like he was being used. And even those goals he was scoring, he was literally the only one who was scoring in those matches against big teams. He scored against big teams, but then the recognition that he deserved, not from the fans but from the club itself, was not there.
Yeah, so he had other options. He wanted to go to Saudi, and the reason I think he wanted to go to the Saudi League is because he wants to score a lot of goals so that he can personally retire with 1,000 career goals, right? ওটাই হচ্ছে ওর I think he's in around 930 or 940 now. Not sure exactly the number, in somewhere in 930ish. But
I feel like if Javi Alonso was earlier, যদি একটু আগে আসতো বুন্ডেসলিগাতে, তাহলে রোনাল্ডোর আসার অনেক বড় চান্স ছিল বুন্ডেসলিগা।
no, Bayern wanted him, but I think Bayern পরে লাস্টে বলছে যে ইয়ে হবে না, মানে they didn't want him because of the age factor and all the stuff. And I understand that from a athletic competitive league point of view, because এখন যে রোনাল্ডোকে দেখতেছি আমরা fitness wise, I don't think he was that fit at Manchester United. That's my take on it.
Mm.
He huffed and puffed a lot with
Mm.
the running of like the high pace of the Premier League. He was very fit at Real Madrid, but I think the Ronaldo that we saw second time at Manchester United was not fitness wise not that great.
Well, like to answer that বলতে একটা মানুষের ফিজিক্যাল হেলথ তো জাস্ট ফিজিক্যালিটির উপরই তো ডিপেন্ড করে না, লাইক এটা তো তোমার মেন্টালি, লাইক লাইক ইউ হ্যাভ টু বি মেন্টালি দেয়ার অ্যাজ ওয়েল, এন্ড উই নো যে how strong he is as a person. Like, he is the most followed person on earth. Like, before he went to Saudi, like আমরা কতজন, like, Al Nasser নামও জানতাম, right? Both Al Hilal, পরে different, like, these clubs that are till now. I'm gonna be like truthful, like, although I'm a Ronaldo fan, but I don't watch Saudi League. I only see his highlights and whatnot, but আমি Saudi League দেখি না. But a lot of people দেখে, অনেক প্লেয়ার্সরা ওদের চলেও গেছে, বাট কাম ব্যাক টু ইউর থিং যে লাইক ম্যানচেস্টার ইউনাইটেড ফিট ছিল না। I agree. Like, কাভানি যেরকম করে খেলতেছিল ইউনাইটেডের জন্য, যে জান প্রাণ দিয়ে খেলতেছিল, যে লাইক রোনালদোর পায়ে একটা একটা ভালো প্লেয়ারের কোয়ালিটি কি, তুমি ওকে বলটা পাস দিবা, ও তোমার জন্য ইদার ক্রিয়েট করবে, নাহলে ও তোমাকে কিছু করে দেখাবে, রাইট? এটাই তো তোমার চাওয়া পাওয়া একটা ভালো একটা প্লেয়ার থেকে, জাস্ট লাইক রোনালদোর মতো। এন্ড রোনালদো তো ওটা করে দেখাইছে ইউনাইটেডের জন্য, বলতে ইভেন কামিং ইন আ এরা যে টাইমে বলতে ইউনাইটেড ওয়াজ নট বিং দ্য বেস্ট, অ্যান্ড আই এম নট গোনা সে যে লাইক ইউনাইটেড অত বাজে ছিল টু দ্য পয়েন্ট এখন যত বাজে চলে গেছে, ঠিক আছে? এখন বলতে ইউনাইটেড বলতে একটা অ্যাভারেজ ক্লাব, একটা স্মল ক্লাবের মতন হয়ে গেছে। অ্যান্ড আই ডু হ্যাভ এ কোয়েশ্চেন ফর বোথ অফ ইউ, লাইক আফটারওয়ার্ডস, যে লাইক দ্যাটস রিগার্ডিং ইউনাইটেড। বাট যেটাই হোক বলতে, Ronaldo, like, yeah, right before the World Cup, yeah, she had Ronaldo's girlfriend or wife, like she had like a miscarriage, right? Sorry, miscarriage, na, after born, or baby boy ta survive করে নাই, and mentally was not there, and I guess like he didn't get the support from the club. That's just, and like this guy does not hold back. He says what he feels. This guy, you know him for his mentality. I don't think he's scared of anything. He's not scared of the media. Like, this guy literally rules the media, to be honest. Like, he comes and says one thing, and people either can take it or people can't take it. That's why he has like a very large fan group and a very large hater group as well. So that's just my take on it. Like, as like why he was not fit. Like, I would say he was not mentally there. He was very happy to be back. And I think he was willing to work like really hard, and he was willing to be that player again, face of a club again, everywhere you go. Like, this guy, he did it in United, he did it in Madrid, he did it in Juventus. He came back to United, like it was just like a fairy tale, like ending that we wanted to see. Like, we would want him to actually retire in a United shirt. And I think like that would be like the greatest thing that can
I
happen,
think
and
the cherry on top of the cake, right?
cherry on top of the cake.
So
But it doesn't go the way like you were supposed to. But I would say, like, come back to, like, I'm sorry to cut you off, but
no, no.
like come back to like the point that why didn't he go to PSG? Why didn't he go to, like, different clubs? Like, why didn't he go to Bayern? It's because he is a creator. He's not like a Shubida party kind of guy. Like, he went to Saudi, he bumped up the views, he bumped up, like, like the city, like, like atmosphere, like,
Pumped
oh,
up
he's
his
gonna
bank
be one of them.
balance.
এটা তো ভাই একটা সাকসেসফুল মানুষের হইতে হলে, like, you need your head in the right place, and I would say যে like he did the right thing, like, for him,
So এখন
for
রুমার আছে
himself.
যে গ্লেজার্সরা তোমার সাউদির কারো কাছে বিক্রি করে দিতে পারে ম্যানচেস্টার ইউনাইটেডকে। And then the rumor is রুবেন অ্যামরিম যদি ম্যানেজার থাকে, there might be a third homecoming for Ronaldo
আর হইলে
to
আমি
finish his
আবারও অনেক পাগলামি করব, আমি জার্সি
finish his character, finish his chapter
আমি
at
অনেক
Manchester
খুশি,
United.
আমি অনেক খুশি হব, but it's just being a fanboy. But just a slight sentence I want to say that I think the combination of losing his baby and the club support, and from Eric Ten Hag, the negativity he was facing, and being benched, and like making him come on for 2 minutes, because I think Eric Ten Hag would forever, in my eyes, be a bastard for treating Ronaldo the way he treated, for letting go of gems, literally, from the Manchester United players. So no matter how many trophies he won us, I will still hate that guy. Even if I see him at an airport, I will probably body tackle him. I hate him so much. I can't stand him. I do not like his tactics. I did not like how he handled the media. I did not like how full of himself he was. If he ever even comes near me, I swear he doesn't come near. Anyways, but the fact that Ronaldo, that the fact that of losing the baby and facing what he faced with Ten Hag and the club, that really brought him down right before the World Cup also. So he went for that interview, and he wasn't. If you see the World Cup, 2022 World Cup, Ronaldo was not not good. And we as Ronaldo fans, we had to hear so much from like how bad he is, how is that, how is that. Oh, Gonzalo Ramos is better, all that stuff. But but the fact that his effort was there, but it didn't show. But as soon as his environment changed, that environment of going to the Saudi League, finding himself kind of back again, because I think Akash mentioned before that he is actually trying to find himself again, and he thought he would find himself again when he was back at Old Trafford. But the fact that he is so loved and people look at him as an icon, his environment change caused him to kind of score those bangers again. He's leading a team again somehow. He's not just scoring penalties, no matter how many penalty people say. So I think that the change of environment has caused him to find his footing again.
Oh, okay. So on that note, we're gonna wrap it up. And my only question is that if you see Eric Ten Hag and you body tackle him, you think that you don't need us, right, to back you up? Like, আমার আর আকাশকে তো দরকার নাই তোমার.
তো
You still need us.
যদি তোমরা এলাকায় না থাকো, it's gonna be me. But তোমাদের যদি জানি তোমরা এলাকায় আসো, but if we all three of us are catching a flight, to do a fan meet, Football Moshla podcast, doing a big fan meet, fanরা আসতেছে আমাদের সাথে সেলফি তোলার জন্য, তাহলে আমি like, please, I spotted, hello, Alpha Bravo Charlie, spotted, Eric Ten Hag, spotted, come on, tackle, ready, on my go, secure the
আচ্ছা,
perimeter.
আমি আর আকাশ হলে আমরা একটু টু মাচ হয়ে যাবো ওর জন্য. I think you can handle him by yourself.
না, বাট
Right?
আই ওয়ান্ট কজ ম্যাক্সিমাম ড্যামেজ। আমারটাতে যদি ড্যামেজ হয় এতটুক, আমি ডাবল ড্যামেজ দিতে চাই। আর সোহলোরে আলো ভালো হবে, সোহলোকে সুপ্লেক্স দিতে পারবে।
আচ্ছা.
লেজিট বডি হয়ে যাবে পুরাই।
আচ্ছা, on that note, Eric Ten Hag বলছে যে he might not even come back to management because he's all set for life. 10 million severance package না 10 না 12 million severance package পাইছে, and ওর ফ্যামিলি অনেক মানে পৈতৃক ভাবে মানে জেনারেশন ন্যাশনাল ওয়েলথ আছে ওর রিয়েল এস্টেটে নেদারল্যান্ডসে. So he has some businesses that he runs with his brothers. So he's all set. So you might meet him, but you might have to he might not be in a football manager. But they all say that, and then they come back to the Bundesliga to manage. So, anyways, that is it for the Ronaldo episode, and I hope you guys had a good time. If you want to give your feedback, please drop it in the comments and like and subscribe to this video, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much, Akash and Fardan and Sohol, who got so excited about Ronaldo that he went to meet Ronaldo in Saudi. And that's where we leave it. All right, take care, guys. Thank you so much.
আলা মাদ্রিদ।